Welcome back everyone to Chris and his Q. Today we're going to be unboxing my spacers that I've been waiting for a very long time, and my wheels that I've been waiting for to put on because of my spacers. So let's get to it. Whew. CNC machined, hub centric, so we lose the rattling. Now let's do the wheels. Ooh, baby. Ah, that fresh rubber. Ain't she a beauty? She is a beauty, guys. Got some Nexen 225 50 ZR 18. I don't know what that would mean, XL, but it's a 99W. It's sitting on 18-inch rims, as you already know. It's a 36mm offset. Now, the spacers are 13mm, and that is because I want this to sit at a 25. Alright, went ahead and unboxed the other wheel. So now we got both wheels. We got our spacers. Now we're gonna go outside, put them on. Alright guys, before we put them on, that's how the car looked. Those were the original wheels. I had put on the rear ones. Those didn't need any spacers, and they're nice and flush. As you can tell, they're already dirty. Both of my cars are dirty, but this is the main one. This is gonna be the side project. Engine's nice and smooth, everything is good, so it's a really good engine to start putting the nitrous in it. But eventually I'm gonna go ahead and swap out all these rims onto this one until I can get some new wheels on it. I did redo the whole inside. I took out all the black interior stuff from that guy and I put it onto this guy. If you do need anything of the black interior, I am willing to sell it. So if you do have a Q45 and you need the black interior, I'll go ahead and give it to you, man. Wheel. Now, a very common thing that the Q45 does have is these tension rods right here. They tend to give out very easily, especially on, Q45s that have more than 50,000 miles, even just for its age. Those are going to be bad. These guys are from Megan Racing. They're pretty good. I mean, they are a little stiffer, and I wish they had a little bit more, soft plane. But I have seen some from the 350 that are a lot beefier. They're rated up for 1,000 horsepower, so I'm hoping not for the horsepower, but the strength, the tensile strength, it's going to be a lot better than these guys. So I actually put the wheels on without the spacers, and I want to check how good it is. Alrighty, so I checked all the clearances, and it looks like we're not going to need these at all, which is actually very good, because we're not going to need to switch out the lugs or the studs, and it's going to be a lot more better handling. We're gonna do a quick wash and I'll show you guys later. Gonna use some just got done with a little quick wash on the Q. Did not do a full detail, but it is looking much nicer. Right now there's not a lot of light, but tomorrow I will go ahead and show you guys the electrical system that I put in that radiator and transmission cooler. Alrighty guys, it is now the next morning, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about the radiator I have installed. Now, initially, these are driven by a direct fan, but I went ahead and took that off because the clutch had started leaking and I did not want to spend the money on replacing the same old clutch fan. So I ordered myself a radiator. This is a dual core. It initially meant for a Miata, but I did not care about that. The only thing I was looking for was a dual core with the thickness and the length that I needed so it can fit right in here. Got myself some very nice heavy duty fans. Ran the same lines from the transmission that was going into a little cooler like this guy right here for the oil. Well, actually no, this is for the power steering. But I went ahead and ran that, took those two little lines off because I do tend to run it a little bit harder than usual, especially with all the door dashing, and I want my transmission to stay nice and cool. Now I do want to mention I am not running the original 180 Fahrenheit thermostat. I did switch to the 170, and that was because the engine while sitting did tend to get a little bit hot, but I put in the 170 and it seems to be very cool, especially when just sitting there for a very long time. In order to activate the fans, I did get this relay slash thermostat. You can thank eBay for that. Ran the wiring, used the same wiring for the initial fans that it has. I can show you on this guy. So it has its own wiring. One of these was for the AC. Another one was for when the car gets too hot. I believe it's past 200. This guy kicks on. But went ahead and used the same wiring, cut it open, had to run it a little bit because this guy does have its own little cap on the radiator, even though we don't need that because we got the top one up here. Went ahead and cut all the wiring, ran it through, used the same relays, which is these two guys. So power comes here, gives power to the fuse, you get power here to the relay. I ran the thermostat right there, and that is because we get all the hot water flowing through here. So as soon as hot water flows, I want to make sure it starts cooling. It actually is in a perfect spot, don't need to put it any closer. This side always stays super cool, and we have our line running from there all the way up to the top up here. Now ran that guy like that, you get power to this guy, and then these guys get direct power from one of these two. From there, when it activates the relay, it passes through the fuse and it goes down into the fan. Now I am going to play a little bit of short clips the way I did here and all the internal wiring. Initially, this car was equipped with a satellite and DSL line, if you believe it or not, but I went ahead and took all that off. Don't want any extra power being pulled from the alternator. Now we can go ahead and run these two fans. Now these two fans, when on full power, both of them are consuming somewhere about 10 amps. So we're only really pulling 20 amps of power from our battery and from our alternator to run these fans. Now they are set up to turn on 148. I find that to be a really nice sweet spot because it only reaches that temperature when I'm running it really hard, or when I'm sitting in a stop or in drive-through for more than 5 minutes. It kicks on for about 10 seconds, then it turns off, which is really cool because now we don't have a big fan spinning through there. We have a little bit more space to access all our belts, so it's pretty good. Used to look that dirty, but now it's nice and clean.